Well, this week we saw a major tectonic shift in economic world power, and Putin and China just scored another devastating blow to the West. Plus, the United States Congress just announced a 10-point plan for war with China, so we know where all of this is going. On top of it, Germany officially entered a recession thanks to crazy Russian sanctions. We'll get to all of the major news updates in a moment. And on this Memorial Day holiday, it's worth remembering that you'll be able to tell your kids how the United States went from being a global superpower after World War II, but then in the years that followed, decided to stoke a World War III with Russia and China, which led to the collapse of the U.S. and the U.S. dollar. We are watching it unfold in real time right before our eyes. But first, overnight, President Biden and Congress agreed in principle to print more U.S. dollars, avoid the debt ceiling default, and expand the U.S. debt ceiling beyond the $33 trillion that we're currently sitting in national debt.
It appears that both sides compromised. Biden gets the debt ceiling raised for 2 years, and Republicans cap some government spending.
Way to go. We've now expanded the amount that we can go into debt. That's a win-win situation. More printing of fake U.S. dollars to pay our bills. What's a few more trillion among friends? I mean, enemies. So this means the U.S. can continue to borrow money from China to pay for war in Russia. See, we borrow money from China and then we funnel the money to weapons manufacturers in the United States through a brilliant money laundering scheme called the U.S. National Defense Budget, as if we're defending anything at all. Do you guys feel any safer? If you feel safer, let me know in the comments. I'd be surprised by that. In other words, we're expanding the debt ceiling for 2 more years. We will be $40 trillion in debt by then, probably. By the way, just a funny side note, America is the country that gives out credit scores for its citizens. America, which is $33 trillion in debt, has the balls to give you a credit score. Oh, the irony. Well, it says here, Sally, that you have $3,000 in credit card debt and you have some student loans. And 5 years ago, you missed your water bill 1 month because it didn't show up in the mail. I'm going to give you a credit score of 620. So, good luck getting a mortgage for that house that you want to buy. I mean, the nerve of these people. But this week, something much bigger happened that got almost no attention in the mainstream media. At least one newscast barely covered it, while everyone else was covering the debt ceiling drama.
Well, the U.S. dollar has typically been the currency of choice when different nations want to trade with each other.
But some countries have been shifting away from tying their currency to our dollar. Last month, Argentina announced that they would start paying for imports using the Chinese yuan due to their shortage of dollars. And Brazil followed suit, announcing that it will allow companies to trade in yuan as well.
Yes, the alliance of China and Russia just scored another victory away from the declining U.S. dollar. At a meeting of the BRICS nations, more countries decided to abandon the U.S. dollar. The countries of Laos, Pakistan, Argentina, Brazil, all now moving away from the U.S. dollar to settle transactions, and instead going to China's yuan. Oh, and I left one minor country off the list, Iraq. Yeah, freaking Iraq. Imagine that. They don't love us anymore? After all, this is the country we invaded. We invaded you. We killed 1 million of your people, innocent people, your civilians. And now you're abandoning the U.S. dollar? How dare you?
Countries across the world are ditching the U.S. dollar. Tonight, we want to tell you about how it's playing out in West Asia. Iraq has become the latest country to dump the U.S. dollar. Iraqis are now banned from dealing in the greenback.
And in the same week that Iraq says, hey, they're done with the United States dollar, the United States announces they're building a new military base in Iraq, in the oil-rich part of Iraq. I mean, you really can't make this stuff up. Ditch our dollar, and we will build a frickin' military base right on your oil fields. Meanwhile, Argentina and Brazil, 2 of the largest economies in Latin America, they're both moving towards using the Chinese yuan more in their trade with China. This is a major development.
It seems China has declared a war on the greenback. Beijing is striking deals, strengthening trade ties, and asking partners to switch to the yuan to settle their bills. First, Brazil made the switch. Now Argentina has entered the club. Argentina will use the yuan for trade with China, and they'll start this month.
The dominoes are falling, guys. There are a number of reasons why Argentina and Brazil are moving towards the yuan. First of all, China is a major trading partner with these countries, both of these countries. In 2022, China was Argentina's second largest trading partner. And it was with Brazil, it was the largest trading partner. Second, the yuan became more widely accepted around the world. And third, the US dollar is becoming far less attractive as a reserve currency. All you need to do is pay attention to the debt ceiling drama over the past few weeks to learn that. The US dollar has been the world's reserve currency since World War II, but the massive US trade deficit, the massive US national debt, and we just told you about, are all major factors of this decline. But something bigger is at work. An economic World War III, the likes of which we haven't seen before. And I mean never at this scale, with this much on the line. You see, back in March of 2022, the mainstream media ignored a huge move by Putin. He made a major announcement in his country, and no one covered it in the West. He suddenly unleashed a plan that was in the works for more than 10 years. He told his people to go out and buy gold and silver, go out and buy precious metals. And oh boy, did they. By the gallons. They snapped up record amounts of gold. Putin unleashed an economic attack unlike anything we've ever seen before. But it didn't happen on the battlefield. Instead, it happened at the banks. Washington was fast asleep while this happened, and they didn't see it coming. What Putin did was issue an announcement that Russia had changed the government laws, which now made it more attractive for the average Russian citizen to buy as much gold and silver as possible for their families. The banks had a run on precious metals. There was a shortage of it in Russia. Basically sold out of silver as well. The move by Russia was designed to reduce and ultimately eliminate dependence on the US dollar as the reserve currency that's used in Russia. Moved to the ruble because it's tied to commodities like gold and silver and oil and other precious commodities, solidifying their relationship with the BRICS nations, Brazil, India, China, and South Africa. The US fought back, issuing what they thought would be bone-crushing sanctions. It backfired because Russia has actually things that people want to buy, i.e. oil and natural gas. This week we learned that oil and gas exports to China have now exploded, meaning Russia's need to send gas to Europe is fading very quickly. In fact, Russia has basically replaced its entire European output from their Nord Stream pipeline flow to Germany, sending it instead to China and other BRICS nations. And in the same week we learned about this, Germany officially entered a recession. The largest economy in Europe just crapped the bed.
And it was all down to the consumer. The consumer spending less on goods, spending less on food and beverages, spending less on furniture, on shoes, new cars, you name it, spending less across the board.
I wonder why they're spending less. Because they can't afford to buy anything. Turns out when you blow up their pipeline, that has real world ramifications. People need to figure out how they're going to heat their home, and they don't have the money to do it. Here's the ultimate question we need to confront right now in the West. How long can the United States and Western countries continue this financial charade? The West has no commodities. They're sitting on them, but their climate policies are keeping them from pulling them out of the ground. Europe is producing none of its natural gas. The U.S. is producing virtually no lithium, uranium, cobalt, or any other list of commodities. China, Russia, and Brazil, on the other hand, the BRICS nations, control all of the commodities. And the West controls the money flow. See what they did here? They built their economies around good old manufacturing and commodities extraction, while the U.S. outsourced it. And now the chickens are coming home to roost, and you're watching this collapse in real time. That's the news update part of this holiday video. Now I want to tell you about today's sponsor, which is tied directly to the off-the-charts demand for gold and silver right now. That company is Gold Mining Inc. Here's their stock ticker on your screen, on the New York Stock Exchange, GLDG. And I want to show you some jaw-dropping gold information before the markets open again tomorrow morning on Tuesday morning. First, this gold-producing stock is trading at just 96 cents a share as of this recording. And we have a new analyst price target that just came out saying this stock will hit $5.25 a share. Why is that? Well, get out a pen and paper because here's why gold is so attractive right now. But first, a little bit about Gold Mining Inc. before we get there. These guys are incredible. That's why I continue to invest in this company, such a remarkable company. So Gold Mining Inc. has a market cap of $170 million. Now, here's its balance sheet, okay? Look at this balance sheet. It's crazy. They have 81% ownership of another gold producer called USGO, worth $140 million, okay? Remember a few weeks ago, I told you about USGO right here on the show. Since I mentioned it, that company has gone up 50% since I showed you that stock. 50%. Freaking unbelievable. And Gold Mining Inc. owns 81% of that company. On top of that, they own 15% of GROY, G-R-O-Y, which is the fastest growing royalty gold company in the gold sector, that one is worth $40 million. So that total is $180 million. Now keep that in mind. Their market cap is only $170 million. You're starting to see why I love this company. And it gets better, actually. Not only do they own a huge chunk of those companies that I just told you about, Gold Mining Inc. also owns various gold deposits from North America to South America and everywhere in between, it seems. They have a total of 24 million ounces of gold equivalent resource that they're sitting on in the highest graded category of gold. That means that if it's valued properly, these 24 million ounces could be worth as much as $960 million, which is 6x from today's market cap if you're doing the math at home. No wonder this company just got a share price target of $5.25 a share. Again, it's trading right now at 96 cents a share as of this recording. But it gets even better when you start to look at the current market trend lines and the charts that are happening more broadly, commodities versus the S&P 500 and how all of this shakes out. So I want to show you this chart. Number one, take a look at this one. Okay, this shows central banks that want to diversify away from the US dollar. And the one asset that they're choosing to do and buy is gold. So net purchases of central banks are at an all-time high right now. They are stockpiling gold. This chart also shows how smart money people are buying gold, not the retail investors. I'm talking about people who've been around for a long time. They know what they're doing. They are buying gold. Now, look at this S&P versus the commodities chart. This is a really impressive chart. Now, it shows that commodities right now, like oil, gas, gold, silver, etc., are the cheapest and most attractive when it's compared against the S&P 500. Under the fiat monetary system, which is 1971 to present, it is screaming that there's never been a better time to long commodities, owning commodities in your portfolio. Look at this chart. Next, take a look at this chart. This is a 26-year chart. It shows that gold stocks compared with gold itself have never been cheaper since silver bottomed out 26 years ago. In other words, in over a generation, 25 years, this is as cheap a gold mining stock has ever been. That's how cheap they are right now, these gold producers. And one more chart for you. I've got like 20 amazing charts today, but I'm literally showing you a few of them. They're all on my desktop and they're crazy, crazy good. I'm just picking a few here. Otherwise, we'd be in this video for an hour. So take a look at this. This is gold discoveries, okay? This chart shows how rare it is for drilling companies to even find gold right now. They can't find new gold discoveries, which is why Gold Mining Inc., that it's sitting on 24 million ounces of equivalent resource. They have an incredibly valuable asset in their portfolio. All right, one more chart. I know I said no more charts, but here's my last one. This one's great. This one shows how commodities are trading right now against the Dow Jones average. So commodities are trading at this shocking 123-year low. Seriously, 123-year low. Look at that support level right now. That is one insane support level. Normally we look for like a few months of a support level. We have 123 years. What's insane here is that it proves that the deglobalization and the de-dollarization are clearing the bottom and that commodities are about to surge vertically, in my opinion. Guys, do your own due diligence on this company. Here is their ticker on the screen once again for Gold Mining Inc., GLDG. Again, it's trading at 96 cents a share today on this holiday. Again, we're on a holiday. The markets are closed, and we have an analyst price target of $5.25 a share. Gold producers are sitting on a literal gold mine right now, and I just can't wait for the next few months because you know how bullish I am on gold and gold producers and silver producers. That makes up the bulk of my portfolio, so I'm very excited for how the next few months will look. We'll see you next time, everyone.